Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Order, members. We now have quorum. Clerk.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Members on their feet, take the nearest seat. Honorable members, the first communication is on suspension of committee sittings during the long recess. Honorable members, as notified in today's order paper, at the rise of this sitting, the House is scheduled to proceed on its long recess from tomorrow, Friday, 6th December 2024 to Monday, 10th February, in accordance with the approved calendar of the third session. This sitting, therefore, will mark the conclusion of regular sittings of the third session of the 13th Parliament and the beginning of a well-deserved break. Honorable members, during this session, the House transacted various key business, including critical bills, treaties, inquiries, and approvals for appointments. The House also undertook its oversight and representation role through statements and questions to cabinet secretaries, which continue to elicit great interest not just in the House, but also from the general public. In keeping with established practice, the clerk is preparing a more comprehensive report detailing the activities of the House in the third session. Order, members. Order, Tandaza. Order. You can't be on phone talking loudly when the speaker is making a communication, or at all. This chamber is not for phone making. It is for you to transact serious business. Any one of you who wants to make a call, walk to the lobby, which we have created for you, with good sofa sets and everything. You can sit there and make your calls as you wish. I want to encourage you members, please observe the decorum in the House. This is your House, the rules are your rules. Honorable members, in line with the approved calendar for regular sittings of the House, committees ought to suspend sittings from 16th December 2024 until 26th January 2025. However, I wish to direct an earlier suspension of committee sittings effective tomorrow, Friday, 6th December 2024. This variation is intended to allow members to attend the East African Community Inter-Parliamentary Games to be held in Mombasa County from 7th to 18th December 2024, and thereafter to attend to their constituents' duties. This will also allow time for parliamentary staff to take their annual leave in preparation for the fourth session. In this regard, any committee that may need to conduct any committee business during the said period must obtain express permission from the Speaker's office upon a written request. Honorable members, in order to safeguard business with statutory timelines from lapsing, the counting of days for such business shall cease effective today and continue when the House sits for the fourth session on Tuesday, 11th February 2025. I hasten to remind members that should need arise for the House to transact any urgent matter, members will be recalled for special sittings pursuant to Standing Order 29. Honorable members, I wish to thank the leadership and members of the House as well as staff for the diligence and commitment exhibited during the session, which enabled the House to transact business both in plenary and in committees. Specifically, I wish to commend members for their active participation, which has seen the consideration and conclusion of key priority business by the House. Honorable members, as you proceed to spend valuable time with your families and constituents during this session, I take this opportunity to wish you a happy festive season, a Merry Christmas, and a prosperous New Year 2025. Thank you. The next communication, honorable members. Members at the bar, take the nearest seats. The nearest. Thank you, honorable members. The next is a legislative proposal to amend the Constitution. I wish to bring to the attention of the House that I have received a legislative proposal intending to amend the Constitution to entrench the National Government Constituencies Decentralized Development Fund, the Senate Oversight Fund, the National Government Affirmative Action Fund in the Constitution. The proposal is co-sponsored by the member for Aina Moi, the Honorable Samuel Chepkonga, MP, and the member for Arieda, the Honorable Dr. Otiende Amolo, MP. Honorable members, the procedure for amending the Constitution through parliamentary initiative is provided for under Article 256 of the Constitution. Standing Order 1147A actualizes this procedure in the National Assembly by providing that, and I quote, "In respect of a proposal to amend the Constitution, the proposal shall be accompanied by the signatures of at least 50 other members in support unless it is sponsored by the majority party or the minority party. Where the Speaker approves the pre-publication scrutiny of the proposal, the Speaker shall notify the House of the approval and may: 1, allow the sponsor to make a statement on the objectives of the proposal. 2, allow comments on the statement made by the member. 3, facilitate collation of the views from the comments of members at an appropriate forum. And 4, invite members with similar or related proposals to make submissions before the committee to which the proposal is referred. The forum of the committee to which the legislative proposal is referred under subparagraph B shall: 1, invite and consider submissions from the Attorney General, the commissions and independent offices established under Chapter 15 of the Constitution, and any constitutional or statutory body with a law reform mandate. 2, in consultation with the sponsor, attempt to develop and recommend a harmonized version of the proposal arising from the submissions received. Honorable members, having obtained signatures of 258 members of this House, and that is quite overwhelming, the proposal submitted by Honorable Chepkonga and Otiende Amolo MP complies with the first part of the Standing Order 114.7a. Consequently, as your Speaker, my obligation is to facilitate the rest of the process as provided for in the standing orders. Honorable members, you will recall that the House has previously been seized of an essentially similar proposal to amend the Constitution co-sponsored by the member for Matungulu, the Honorable Stephen Mule MP, and the member for Gishugu, the Honorable Githinji Gishimu MP. With regard to this earlier proposal, I allowed the Honorable Mule and Honorable Gishimu to make statements on the objectives of the proposal and further allow members to comment on the proposal. Additionally, this House passed a resolution on 24th November 2022 on the establishment of a joint parliamentary ad hoc committee on a proposal to amend the Constitution to entrench certain specialized funds. Notably, the Honorable Chepkonga was the co-chairperson of the committee, which was expected to collect the views of members of both houses and develop or recommend a harmonized version of the proposal. Honorable members, the Joint Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee was unfortunately unable to conclude its work and table a report. This was despite the Honorable Chepkonga seeking a 90-day extension for the committee, which I acceded to on 23rd March 2023. Presently, it seems that the work of the Joint Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee and the active representation of the House in NGCDF litigation matters by the co-sponsors may have informed their decision to introduce the new current proposal. Honorable members, as your Speaker, part of my obligation is to facilitate the legislative process as provided for in standing orders. In this regard, and in keeping with the requirements of Standing Order 114.7a, I have approved the request by the Honorable Chepkonga and the Honorable Otiende to make very brief statements on the objects of the proposal during the afternoon sitting, this afternoon. Noting that members ventilated at length on the issue of entrenching NGCDF and other related funds in the Constitution while considering the earlier proposal by the Honorable Mule and the Honorable Gishimu, I shall limit the comments on the proposal for the convenience of the House. Honorable members, this proposal and the earlier proposal introduced by the Honorable Mule and the Honorable Gishimu shall thereafter stand committed to the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs for consideration. As required by Standing Order 114.7ac, the committee shall expeditiously invite and consider submissions from the Attorney General, the commissions in independent offices established under Chapter 15 of the Constitution, and any other body with a law reform mandate. Additionally, to avoid further delay, the committee is directed to submit its recommendations on the proposals on or before 11th February 2024, which is the date that the House is scheduled to resume for the fourth session. 2025, the House is accordingly guided. In furtherance of that, honorable members, not later than 5 today, the House will allow the Honorable Chepkonga and the Honorable Otiende Amolo to speak to this proposal, and Majority Leader and your counterparts. That opportunity will also provide members an opportunity to speak to an adjournment motion, so to speak. Bid farewell to each other for this year. Wish other well. Those who have offended each other, apologize to one another. Those who have offended others, seek for forgiveness from those you offended, and wish everybody to go in one piece and come back in one piece with the tremendous industry that we have had through the term. Majority Leader, you may recall the accolades we received as the vetting committee or the approval hearings when we allowed members of the public to send in their questions as the proceedings were going on from all over the country, through members' telephones, through the clerks, and through other mediums, and all those issues were taken on board, put to the nominees, and they helped the House in arriving at a proper decision on each one we vetted. It was a new, novel innovation that has been received very well by the public, and going to the future, some of the proceedings, even in committees, chairmen may allow members of the public to send in 1 or 2 questions to put to the people, ministers and any other public servants who are appearing before you, so that you can enrich what you are doing. I thank you. On what I have just said, Mama Kisi.
Thank you. You know, Mr. Speaker, you've wished us a Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Even if we are going to debate about it, you might not be there. So I also want to wish you a Merry Christmas, Mr. Speaker. It comes clear from Kisi. May it be a loving one. This is for Mr. Speaker. I will wait for him to finish the conversation with the majority. I'm still standing. This is Kisii County represented, and I will give to the members. Mr. Speaker, this is your message. He was engaging you, and I wanted you to hear. You've wished us a Merry Christmas. It is good for Kisii to recognize and wish you back a happy season, sparkling one with love. And as we celebrate the New Year, I wish you come to Kisii. In our church, we celebrate the New Year, Mr. Speaker, and all members, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Our electorate will want something, so Mr. Speaker, you will also give us something for Christmas.
Thank you, Honorable Donya. I'll for sure come with you to Nyabururu Church. Yes, those who want to speak to issues of that nature, you wait and speak when Chepkonga will have addressed you. Yes, Gishimu?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's just a humble request that Honorable Mule and I, being the trailblazers and having also committed our proposal to the committee, you also give us priority to comment on the same after the current sponsors of the current proposal. We also ventilate on the comments that we would like to make.
We'll not only do that, but I did say that your industry in this matter will not go in vain. And when JLAC considers this proposal, both you and Mule will be invited to appear before JLAC and ventilate on your proposals so that they become part of the bill that will eventually find its way to the floor. And I think the whole House acknowledged the good work that you did when you brought the motion. Yes, Julius?
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I'm just reminded when you were making your last statement touching on this House, there was a weighty matter raised by Chairman Finance Kuria Kimani sometimes back while you were away to the then Speaker who was sitting at your chair, and it was referred to you. The issue touching on how the two houses are handling our ministers. Some of them, we realized that our ministers cannot serve in the office because they are being kept called by the Senate, and when they are prosecuting issues that are squarely and by the Constitution are being meant to be addressed by this House. And I've been waiting for the ruling from the Speaker up to now. I just wanted to know how far is that going to be. Thank you.
Honorable Julius Ruto, I think I saw the matter, and a matter of that nature would rather be handled administratively than be subjected to a ruling on the floor. I share the views, and I will administratively address the matter. I also get a lot of complaints from some members of the executive that they get too many invitations to come to Parliament, to the extent that sometimes they conflict with their diaries. That is a matter we'll discuss with the majority leader and find a way of how to harmonize. If you read the Constitution, cabinet secretaries are responsible first to Parliament before anything else. So, and that's why His Excellency directed that we amend standing orders to bring them here to answer to public policy and the work of the government. So we'll continue having them here, subject to some conveniences that we need to address. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Kamketi hiyo tumepita. Julius, take the nearest seat. Honorable members, I have a message from the Senate on the approval of the nomination of Mr. Gerald Nyaoma Arita for appointment to the position of Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Kenya. Honorable members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41-4, relating to messages from the Senate, I wish to report to the House that I have received a message from the Senate regarding the approval of the nomination of Mr. Gerald Nyaoma Arita for appointment to the position of Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Kenya. Honorable members, you recall that the approval hearings for the nominee for the position of Deputy Governor of the Central Bank of Kenya were jointly conducted by the respective committees of the two houses. Indeed, on Wednesday, 27th November 2024, the National Assembly approved the appointment of Mr. Gerald Nyaoma Arita as the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank. Now the approval by the Senate concludes the bicameral consideration of the matter. I'm informed that this decision has already been conveyed to the Office of the Head of Public Service for appropriate action. The House is accordingly guided. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, December 5th, 2024, afternoon sitting. Reports of the Auditor General and financial statements for Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation, Staff Mortgage and Car Loan Scheme for the 9 months period ended 30th June 2024, and the certificates therein. 2 reports of the Auditor General and financial statements for the years ended 30th June 2021, 2022, and 2023, and the certificates therein in respect of Blessed Mugudha Secondary School, Njoro Boys High School, and Bavuni Secondary School. 3 reports of the Auditor General and financial statements for the years ended 30th June 2024, and the certificates therein in respect of the following: Kenyan Nairobi Southern Bypass Road Project, Regional Mombasa Port Access Road Project, Mombasa Nairobi Addis Ababa Road Corridor Project Phase 2, Financing Locally Led Climate Action Program Project, Support to Technical Vocational Education and Training for Relevant Skills Development Project, Increased Enjoyment of Human Rights and Fundamental Freedoms by All in Kenya Project Grant, credit number KEN 190011 from Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, USA Boresha Jamii Project, Africa Center of Excellence in Sustainable Use of Insects as Food and the Feeds Project, Kenya National Western Bypass Project, Second Kenya Informal Settlements Improvement Project, Kenya Urban Support Program, IDA credit number 61340, KR, State Department of Housing and Urban Development, Kenya Youth Employment and Opportunities Project, East Africa Skills Transformation and Regional Integration Project, Horn of Africa Gateway Development Project, Global Fund Provision of Quality Care and Prevention Services for all people in Kenya with TB, leprosy, and lung diseases program, Global Fund to contribute to achieving Vision 2030 through universal access to comprehensive HIV prevention, treatment, and care program, Global Fund to reduce malaria incidents and deaths by at least 75% by 2016 levels by 2023, working towards a malaria-free Kenya program, Multinational Horn of Africa Isiolo Mandera Corridor, Ram Road Upgrading Project, Port Rees, Moi International Airport Access C110 Road, Multinational Arusha Holili Taveta Voi Road Corridor Development Project Phase 1, Project Loan number 210015002894 from Kenha. Eastern Africa Regional Transport Trade and Development Facilitation Project, towards ending drought emergencies, Twende, ecosystem-based adoption in Kenya's arid and semi-arid rangelands project, European Widows and Orphans Pension Fund, Keno Sagana Marua Highways Improvement Project, improvement of drinking water and sanitation systems in Mombasa Moache project, upgrading of Kibwezi Mutomo Kitui Migwani Road project, National Agricultural and Rural Inclusive Growth Projects, Kenya Off-Grid Solar Access Project, COSAP, Kenya Serial Enhancement Program, Kenya Transformation Centers Digital Platform Project, Kenya Climate Smart Agriculture Project, East Africa Skills for Transformation and Regional Integration Project, Kenya Water Security and Climate Resilience Project, Multinational Drought Resilience and Sustainable Livelihoods Programs in the Horn of Africa, Program for Legal Empowerment and Aid Delivery Projects, Mombasa Mariakani Highways Project, Roads Lot 1, Mombasa Kwa ADF Loan from Kenha, multinational to build resilience for food and nutrition security in the Horn of Africa, BRIFONS, State Department for Agriculture. And lastly, the small-scale irrigation and value addition project, ADF loan 2001300145530 and grant number 5570155000751 from the State Department of Agriculture. Thank you.
Thank you, Majority Leader. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Education. Malulu Njendi.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 5th December 2024. Report of the Departmental Committee on Education on its consideration of the Learners with Disabilities Bill, Senate Bill number 10 of 2023.
Thank you. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. Mutuse.
Mr. Speaker, the chair is not in, and we are supposed to table the joint report on NADCO, but the co-chair in the Senate has not yet signed, so we request for more time so that we can table in the course of the business this afternoon.
You sure you'll have it this afternoon?
It is just waiting for signature from the joint chair in the Senate, Honorable Wakili Sigei.
So when it comes, alert the chair?
I will do so, Mr. Speaker.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Isn't there a notice of motion? Or it's the same thing, Mutuse? Okay, there was also a notice of motion. The same reasons apply?
The same reasons apply.
Thank you. Okay. Next order. Yes, Ruku.
As you know, Mr. Speaker, I requested for a statement on 18th of September regarding the payment of the last. Yes, I requested.
Just hold, take your seat. Sarah, go to clerk, go to skip order 7 for now. Go to order 8, 9, and 10. We dispose of those before we start with order number 9. I put the question.
Okay.
Order number 10, we put the question. Then we'll come back to statements.
Order number 9, motion. Report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Startup Bill, Senate Bill number 14 of 2022. Question to be put.
Honorable members, I put the question at order number 9, which is that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the whole House on its consideration of startup bill, Senate Bill number 14 of 2022, up to clause 6, and seek leave to sit again. As members of that opinion say aye. As members of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it, so you will be sitting again shortly. Next order.
Order number 10, motion, consideration of the mediated version of the Conflict of Interest Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2023. Question to be put.
Thank you, honorable members. I'll now put the question at order number 10, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Article 113(2) of the Constitution and Standing Order 153, this House adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the Conflict of Interest Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2023, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 4th December 2024, and approves the mediated version of the Conflict of Interest Bill, National Assembly Bill number 12 of 2023. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. We go back to order number 8.
Order number 8, procedural motion, extension of period for consideration of a special motion on approval of nominees for appointment to the Salaries and Remuneration Commission.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of Section 13 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act of 2011 relating to extension of period of consideration of nominees for appointment to a public office, that this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of a special motion relating to the approval of nominees submitted by His Excellency the President for appointment as a chairperson and members of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission by a period of 14 days from 11th of December 2024. Honorable Speaker, these are procedural motion considering that we are breaking for the long recess and there were issues that were still to be resolved on the approval process of the SRC Commission. Therefore, we are just seeking extra time to be able to finalize on the few pending issues before we bring that motion for approval. Honorable Speaker, and therefore beg to move and request the minority whip, the Honorable Mwenje, to second.
Mwenje.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I agree with the majority leader. There's some sticky issues to be resolved, so I second the motion. Thank you.
Him is said pending, you say sticky. Which one is? It's pending because it's sticky. Honorable members, I now propose the question, which is that, pursuant to the provisions of Section 13 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011, relating to the extension of a period of consideration of nominees for appointment to a public office, this House resolves to extend the period for the consideration of a special motion relating to the approval of nominees submitted by His Excellency the President for appointment as the chairperson and members of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission by a period of 14 days from 11th December 2024. We put the question? Honorable members, I'll now put the question, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Section 13 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011, relating to extension of period of consideration of nominees for appointment to a public office, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of a special motion relating to the approval of nominees submitted by His Excellency the President for appointment as the chairperson and members of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission by a period of 14 days from 11th December 2024. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Go back to order number 7.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Majority Leader. We'll start with your statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The usual Thursday statement, today being a very special Thursday, Honorable Speaker, being the last Thursday of this year for normal sittings. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2A, I rise to give the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee, which met on Monday, 2nd December 2024, to prioritize business for consideration during the week. As members are aware, the House is scheduled to proceed for the long recess commencing after today's session, going by our calendar of regular sittings. I wish to take this opportunity to thank the leadership and members of this House for your dedication and active participation during this session. The House sat longer on some days and had additional sittings to conclude various priority business, which the House Business Committee does appreciate and note the dedication and commitment of members of the House. In retrospect, Honorable Speaker, I believe we have achieved a lot, dared greatly, shown a lot of enthusiasm in our work, and a great high sense of devotion and dedication to our high calling as members of Parliament of the National Assembly of the Republic of Kenya. And I want to encourage honorable members to continue the same dedication. Honorable Speaker, I must thank the leadership of this House, all our members, and indeed our staff for the charisma and steadfastness demonstrated during the torturous and life-threatening events of 25th June 2024 and the aftermath of these incidents. I can only say that your resilience, honorable members, is nothing short of inspiring, without which the House would not have quickly returned to normalcy, and has enabled us to accomplish a lot and close this session at a high peak. Honorable Speaker, just to pick out a few accomplishments, in the course of this third session, the House passed various key legislation, including bills relating to taxes, tax procedures, business laws, and the budget for both the national and county levels of government, with the conclusion this morning, Honorable Speaker, of the addition of the county revenue allocation bill, which was concluded this morning following the message that came from the Senate that you relayed to the House. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, the House considered and approved various nominees for appointment to various positions, including the reconstitution of the cabinet, and Honorable Speaker, as you very well noted, with very good new innovations of even including members of the public questions in the vetting process. And indeed, we must also note, as a House Business Committee, note your leadership, Honorable Speaker, in the Committee on Appointments, since these were some of the innovations that you led the Appointments Committee to innovate. There have also been constitutional commissions and other state and public officers whom we have approved, including the one that you just read the message from Mr. Nyaoma, the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, which we concluded and passed on to the Senate. Honorable Speaker, the House has also demonstrated its responsiveness to the issues affecting the public and risen to the occasion to address them. Of note, when the public raised concerns regarding the new funding model for our university education and the teething challenges faced in the implementation of the universal health care under Taifa Care, this House requested you to convene a Kamukunji with the respective cabinet secretaries to iron out the challenges, and you did so, Honorable Speaker, and the House Business Committee notes with gratitude your commitment to enabling and shepherding the House to resolve issues that are of concern to the people that we meet here to represent. Honorable Speaker, it is also worth noting that the House also robustly executed its oversight roles through parliamentary questions and statements sought by members of this House to cabinet secretaries who have appeared to answer and respond to these questions and statements from the public brought to the House on behalf of the people by their elected representatives. I may not be able, Honorable Speaker, to list all the achievements, but allow me to sincerely register my thanks to the House for the work well done this year, and especially during this last session of this year. Honorable Speaker, as we recollect and appreciate what has been achieved, I wish to point out that the mission of the 13th Parliament is not yet over. We still have a significant number of legislative proposals, bills, statutory instruments, and other reports that will most certainly need our keen attention when the House resumes on Tuesday, 11th February 2025. And Honorable Speaker, as you indicated, should there be need for a special sitting, I am certain that all these members are ready and willing to appear for a special sitting for any urgent business that may come in. And I thank them for their dedication. I therefore want to urge all members to rest during this recess, rejuvenate yourselves, and spend time with your families. They are the most important part of your being, your families. Spend good time with them this Christmas season. And also your larger families, the constituents that you represent, the people who have given you the great honor to come and represent them in this house, spend time with them and share Christmas with them. Do not fear to share Christmas with your constituents. Even our churches, please do share with them, because we are directed so in the Bible for those of us who are Christians, and I want to believe that even those of our colleagues who are Muslims, the Holy Quran also directs them to share. And indeed, I do know that Muslims have that sharing spirit always. I see it during the month of Ramadan when the Honorable Aden Dawood visits me and my family to share what he has. Honorable Speaker, I also wish to take this opportunity to inform honorable members of the House, I had mentioned that may be recalled for a special sitting pursuant to the provision of Standing Orders 29.1 to consider important pending business and other urgent business that may arise in the interim. Honorable Speaker, it's good to note that this House, we are like doctors on call, and members are always willing to appear should there be need.
We
Therefore,
can call you even on Christmas Day.
That is why we are called to a high calling, yes. Honorable Speaker. Yes. And I'm certain these members, even if you call them on Christmas Day, they will be here for the service of humanity and the people of Kenya that have given that high honor to represent them. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the House Business Committee, my family, and the great people of Kikuyu constituency, may I also take this opportunity to wish you all a happy festive season as you interact with your families and spend time with them, your constituents, and all other Kenyans. I now wish to lay this statement on the table of the House, and I thank you. Honorable Speaker, out of the statement, may I also request, honorable members, that in the coming year, Honorable Speaker, this last week has been very torturous for the whips. This afternoon, I joined the Honorable Mwenje and the Honorable Naomi in whipping members to try and come into the chamber when you are seated there. But at times it's very embarrassing, Honorable Speaker, to leave you sitting here to go and whip members, and you find some members lying on the seats in the members' lounge, others enjoying their meals. And Honorable Speaker, we all know the appointed time when the Speaker sits here is at 2:30. I would beg, I know towards the end of the year people get fatigued, but in the new year, I would want to pray that we will not be keeping the Speaker here waiting at 2:30 or even at 9:30 in the morning, and we will not have members seated in the dining area. I had to whip at least 15 members who are entertaining guests, others who are having their lunch, Honorable Speaker, and I therefore just want to plead that in the coming year, because we all come re-energized with new energy, renewed energy after Christmas, and I believe even have gained some weight, Honorable Speaker. This year has been torturous. And as I said, members have been very resilient, and I want to thank all of them, but urge all of us that in the new year, let us come with new energy so that we also treat the business of the House with the dignity that deserves and on time, Honorable Speaker. With that, I thank you and wish all of our members a Merry Christmas, a happy festive season, a prosperous 2025 to you and your families and your constituents. May God bless you and continue serving the nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Member for Suna West. We're now on statements.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order number 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of Departmental Committee on Education regarding capitation to schools, textbook to pupil ratio, and the state of early childhood development and education, which is ECD programs. Mr. Speaker, the country has made remarkable strides in expanding access to education through initiatives such as free primary and secondary education, significantly boosting enrollment rates and reducing education disparities. However, while access to education is essential, the quality of education must also be prioritized so as to equip learners with skills and knowledge needed to succeed in a competitive and dynamic environment. Unfortunately, the current government capitation grants for primary and secondary schools are insufficient to address rising operational costs driven by the inflation and the high cost of living. These financial strains leave schools struggling to provide essential resources and timely compromising in quality of education. In addition, there is need to ensure that the framework for textbook distribution in public school under the free basic education system is designed to boost the quality of education provided. Honorable Speaker, pre-primary education is crucial for early character development and cognitive preparedness of a child under Article 186 of Constitution. Devolves early childhood development and education, ECD, to county governments, leaving each county to regulate its own ECD programs. Consequently, ECD programs in some counties have faced significant challenges, including lack of investment by counties, resulting to disparities with regards to poor facilities and underpaid teachers, hindering quality of education and resources available to learners and teachers. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following. 1, the plans, if any, by the Ministry of Education to increase capitation for both primary and secondary schools to caution schools against the high cost of living and inflation. 2, a report on the ratio of textbooks to pupils in the country, the criteria used by the ministry to determine the ratio of textbooks, distribution, and measures taken to ensure an equitable ratio countrywide. And 3rd, a comprehensive assessment of implementation of early childhood development and education, ECD, programs under county governments, including steps taken to collaborate to ensure standardization for smooth and effective transition of child from ECD to primary school education. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Masara. Chair Education, I thought I saw Meli here. Oh, Malulu Njendi.
Yes, Speaker.
You bring the response the first week upon resumption.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Amina Udugon. Member for Garissa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for the statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning regarding the management of pension funds by the National Social Security Fund. Honorable Speaker, the National Social Security Fund is a statutory body mandated to register members, receive their contributions, manage funds of the scheme, process, and ultimately pay out benefits to eligible members and or dependents. The enactment of the National Social Security Fund Act of 2013, which took full effect in 2023, introduced a new structure for contributions. This has resulted in an increase in the contributions managed by NSSF, with collections averaging to Kenya shillings 6 billion per month. Honorable Speaker, in compliance with the Retirement Benefit Authority Act, the NSSF outsourced fund management to external fund managers, namely Old Mutual Asset Managers, Gen Africa Asset Managers, Africa Alliance Kenya Investment Bank, Salam Investment East Africa Limited, Corp Trust, and CIC Asset Managers Limited. However, Mr. Speaker, in August 2024, the Central Bank of Kenya initiated an investigation through a request to the Capital Markets Authority into irregular trading activities involving the NSSF, where bonds were allegedly bought at inflated prices and sold at losses. The purported trading malpractice raises serious concerns regarding the stewardship in management of pension funds by the NSSF and the detrimental impact to the contributors. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning on the following. Number one, a comprehensive report on the distribution of funds for management amongst the 6 external fund managers for NSSF from July 2022 to October 2024, including any bond transactions made in the primary and secondary markets. 2, a report on the total value of investment made in buying of government securities, such as treasury bonds, and the distributions among the external fund managers. Number 3, Mr. Speaker, the action taken by the Board of Trustees of NSSF to internally investigate the purportedly irregular trading activities and ensure that prudential principles such as security, profitability, liquidity, and transparency were followed in the investment of the funds. 4, a report on any investigations that have been undertaken by the Capital Market Authority in collaboration with the Central Bank of Kenya on the alleged irregular trading activities, and if so, Mr. Speaker, the action taken to sanction those involved. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, the role, if any, of Pagamon Investment Bank in the alleged irregular trading activities resulting in the bonds being bought at inflated prices and sold at losses. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Odugon. Chair, Finance and Planning. Where is the Chair, Finance? Mama Naomi? Wapi mwenyekiti wako?
I think he has not yet arrived.
Inform them to respond.
I will.
First week upon resumption.
I will. Thank you.
Joshua Kandia.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Labor regarding the recruitment of officers to the State Department for Diaspora Affairs.
Yes, hold on. What's the point of order, Amina?
Mr. Speaker, not a point of order, but still on the statement.
We're done with your statement.
I know, Mr. Speaker. Give me 1 minute to say something. The NSSF now collects 12% of the workers' salaries, Mr. Speaker, and I would have liked if the two committees, the the Finance Committee and the Social Security Committee, to sit and invite me in that meeting so that I can take part in seeing this important.
When the Finance Committee sits, they will invite you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
It's a given.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kandia.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Labor regarding the recruitment of officers to the State Department for Diaspora Affairs. Honorable Speaker, Article 232(1)(I) of the Constitution enshrines the values and principles of public service, which includes the provision of adequate and equal opportunities for appointment, training, and advancement in all levels of public service to men and women, members of all ethnic groups, and persons with disability. This constitutional provision is necessary for upholding equity, fairness, inclusivity, and transparency in public service appointments and advancement. Honorable Speaker, the State Department of Diaspora Affairs has undertaken a recruitment of individuals to various positions within the department contrary to Article 232(1)(I) of the Constitution and Section 37 of the Public Service Commission Act Cap 185. Notably, the Public Service Commission Act Cap 185 mandates the Commission to advertise all vacancies of a public office on its official website and in at least one newspaper of national circulation. However, there is no evidence that such advertisements were made for the positions recruited. Therefore, many Kenyans were denied an equal opportunity to apply for the positions in the State Department for Diaspora Affairs. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Labor on the following. 1, a comprehensive report on the recruitment of officers to the State Department for Diaspora Affairs from January 2023 to October 2024, detailing the dates when the mandatory public advertisements were made in accordance with Section 37 of the Public Service Commission Act Cap 185 and the procedures used in the recruitment. 2, a list of individuals recruited to the State Department for Diaspora Affairs during the specified period, including details on the regions from which they were selected. And 3, the measures put in place by the Public Service Commission to ensure that all Kenyans are afforded adequate and equal opportunity for appointment to public offices, along with steps taken to uphold transparency in the recruitment process within public offices. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Karemba, that is to you.
Yes, Honorable.
First week upon resumption?
Yes, I undertake that we will look into his statement, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Karemba, yourself, request for your statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Request for a statement regarding the high cost of farm feeds. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock regarding the high cost of farm feeds. Honorable Speaker, dairy farming is crucial in ensuring food security and economic stability in the country. Sadly, the industry faces several challenges that have crippled the farmers, including high cost of animal feeds, high veterinary charges, and change in milk prices. The challenges have in turn decreased milk yields, thereby undermining overall performance and sustainability of dairy farming in the country, and specifically in Runyenjes, Embu County. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock regarding the following. 1, statistics of milk production in Runyenjes constituency in Embu County. 2, the measures being put in place to lower the cost of animal feeds required for dairy farming. And 3, the initiatives being put in place to ensure milk production in the country. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Agriculture. Wapi Dr. Mutunga. Naomi, you inform the chair.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I will inform him, and I'm sure once we come back from recess, they'll be able to give us a report.
Thank you. Responses. Tongoyo. To a statement by Honorable Tindi Mwale. Is he in the house?
Yeah, I can see he's in the house.
I can see you, Honorable Member. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Honorable Speaker, in a response to the statement being sought by the MP, Nicholas Tindi Mwale, the MP for Butere, regarding a statement regarding the fight against drug trafficking in the country, I want to state as follows. And in particular, I wanted to know the number of users of the hard drugs, the number of users hard drugs in the country registered by NACADA with a specific focus on the heroin and cocaine, the reported involvement of the law enforcement officers, and that is the National Police Service, and the status of the war against the drug abuse, including enumeration of the rehabilitation program for persons affected by the drug abuse. Honorable Speaker, Kenya faces a number of challenges as far as alcohol and drug abuse is concerned, and the problem transcends through race, income level, economic, or social status, continues to permit and affect the overall productivity of Kenyans. The number of users of the hard drug is obtained from the various surveys that the authority has carried out over the years. And Honorable Speaker, it is a voluminous document. It's a result of a survey. And I think our main...
Be shared with Honorable Tindi?
Yeah, I'd rather do that because it actually gives a whole report of the survey to include the...
Share it with the member and table it.
Better, Honorable Speaker, because it's a voluminous document a bit. I don't know.
Honorable Mwale, have you seen it?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'd seen the document.
Okay, so table it. And I'll allow the member to ask a supplementary on the document.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. The data has been provided, but the years which they are quoting, it's not recent. They are using data which it's like 3 years ago. So I don't know if we can get the exact data as of 2024.
Gabriel, are you giving data that is out of date?
Honorable Speaker, it's hard to do because, you know, surveys are expensive. And at times they are periodically carried maybe after 2 years or 3 years. But I will try to see if we have the latest, because the latest I can see here is of 2021. And I think 2021 is the latest. There's one for 2021 by NACADA. And I think that is the latest we have.
So, yes, Tindi?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to liaise with the committee if they can ask the relevant ministry of the recent data, because we might be dealing with the data of 2021, but data do keep changing because we see drug abuse is a common disease in Kenya these days.
Yes, Nabi?
Honorable Speaker, I tend to agree with the Honorable Tindi. The problem of drug trafficking and use of hard drugs has permeated the society, especially our schools, our secondary schools, our universities and colleges. Now, if we are relying on our data 4 years back, we cannot be able to develop a strategy to manage this. And therefore, it behoves upon the ministry to give us an up-to-date data to enable us develop strategy to manage this situation. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Onda.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. At least we have some data, whether redundant or not, but at least we have got a starting point. But I think the chair could listen to members. Chair said that you transmit this information to the relevant authorities. Honorable Speaker, the issue of drug trafficking is becoming a dangerous menace in this country. For us who represent border constituencies, we are reeling from the effect of transmission or peddling of hard drugs like bang and other forms of narcotic. And Honorable Speaker, it's now starting to affect our young people, our children, and surprisingly, and of all surprising aspects, Honorable Speaker, even the girls are now resorting to smoking bang, which is starting to worry every member of society. I remember when the DIG came to my constituency about 2 weeks ago, he talked about this matter, but most of this drug trafficking, Honorable Speaker, is normally by the support and convenience of the security officers. Probably one of the issues that the committee needs to deal with is how to sensitize security officers on the danger of supporting drug trafficking. With those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I wish the chair will get, when we return next year, we will come with a more updated and comprehensive report or a template we can use to talk about drug trafficking in our various constituencies. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
What I would direct Tongoyo to do is, for the period we're on recess, try and get up-to-date data up to at least 2022, 23, so that you can share with Honorable Mwale and any other member who can pick from the table office. And I will direct that this statement be listed when we resume, so that you can be interrogated a little more. Yes.
Honorable Speaker, actually, this one, the latest by the National Survey, it was of 2022, but 2022. We'll try to see whether there is the very recent.
Yes.
But I just want to mention, Honorable Speaker, because there's also a question on the number of accredited facilities that are undertaking rehabilitation, and that one, at least currently we have about 111. Ritini being one of the model we have in the country, and actually our committee had continuously been allocated money, and there is a good work being done there. And I want also to report that the agency, the anti-narcotic unit within the DCI, is really vibrant. We are trying to do something about it, try to give it a little bit some kind of autonomy and enhancing resources allocation, because currently they are a bit deprived even. Actually, they're not really mobilized because they've got a limitation of vehicles, like hardly 50. And we are trying to look a way of adding resources. They were a little bit understaffed. They had only about 76. Just last week, they have been given an approval to add some staff to make it almost 100, so that they can able to be a little bit more efficient in trying to access every part of this country. But on the issue of the data, I will do as guided, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Tende Mwale, we'll have that when we resume. Next, Honorable Raila Kasiwai's statement, Chair, Blue Economy.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And on Tuesday, Honorable Speaker, there was some, I think you were informed that you had made a ruling that I report on the questions by the Honorable Member for Mwache Dam. The Honorable, I can't remember his name, Konsirai. Yes, and I did.
He's not in the House?
Yes, I'm just reporting, Honorable Speaker, that I did respond to the questions this morning. Okay. So this one is for Kasiwai, and I think this will be my last question.
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to go straight to the Honorable Member asked about the status of Murunyi Dam. And the first question is the current status of Sioi Murunyi Dam project and the reason why it has delayed. And Honorable Speaker, I want to state that the project had two lots. There was lot 1 and lot 2 of that project. And I want to report that lot 2 of the project is 97% complete. And lot 2 is 72% complete. Lot 2 is about the dam itself. And lot 2 is about the water treatment plant. And lot 1 is the dam itself. The question number 2 is the steps the government has undertaken to address the challenges that led to the delay, the completion. The Honorable Speaker, I want to say that the government has put measures in place to ensure no further delay in the project through the provision of funds in a timely manner. And then the item number 3, Honorable Speaker, the measures undertaken by the Ministry of Water and Sanitation to complete. I want to say, Honorable Speaker, that this here, the financial year 2024-2025, through my committee, Honorable Speaker, we allocated about 900 million Kenya shillings to complete this project. Though they have made also another request of 600 million for some last mile connectivity. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think those are the three questions the Honorable Member requested, and it's clearly provided like that.
Raila, satisfied?
Thank you, Speaker. I want to thank the chairman for giving some answers to this question. But, Mr. Speaker, I have some reservations about the figures he provided. Like in Lot 1, the ministry claims that the project is 72% complete, but according to my research on the ground, the project in Lot 1 is only 50% complete. And same to Lot 2. The chairman claims that the Lot 2 project is 97%, but according to my research, it only shows about 80% complete. So these discrepancies, Mr. Speaker, are concerning, and I propose to the committee to conduct a site visit to be able to ascertain the actual status of the project. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, this project really affected some pieces of land of the community around that place, that is Murunyi in South Pokot constituency. And therefore the community in that area, Mr. Speaker, are really claiming or complaining. They need some compensation. So I urge the ministry to do something about compensation so that the landowners are given something at least to better their lives. And finally, Mr. Speaker, about the allocation of 900 million, I want to appreciate this, and I only want to urge the committee to ensure the project, to ensure that this money, the 600 million, is given in the next financial year, I mean in the supplementary budget, so that the project is completed on time, because I know this project is very important to the people of West Pokot, and therefore it's very important to be done on time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Bowen.
Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Kasiwai, by profession, and I know her, she is a teacher. The last time I saw her, she was a teacher, and now she's a member of parliament. I don't know when she turned to be an engineer and a statistician.
Just to respond to her question, why are you...
Say, this is, Mr. Speaker, these are the correct information from the engineers from Ministry of Water, that the project Lot 2 is 97% complete, which is the dam, and Lot 1, which is the water treatment, is 72%. On the issue of the funds, Mr. Speaker, I'm the chair of the committee.
Yes, Mudhoni. Honorable Mudhoni. Give her the mic.
Honorable Speaker, is the chair in order to insinuate that teachers don't know anything else other than teaching? Chair, teachers are very knowledgeable. They read a lot, and I want to confirm here, Honorable Lyle is in order to quote, she is a mathematics teacher, and she is in order to quote the figures. Thank you, Speaker.
The chairman is out of order.
Thank you, Speaker. So on the finance, Honorable Speaker, I say that through my committee we allocated 900 million, which they have not even absorbed this money. So I want to assure the Honorable Member what they have requested for as an additional 600 million for the last mile connectivity, we are going to provide the Honorable Speaker. On the compensation, Mr. Speaker, I want to report that before the contractor took site, there was already a compensation. I think that almost there were only a few individuals remaining with the ministry, Mr. Speaker, in the process of paying them through the Land Commission. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. We'll end it there. Let's, yes, Ruku. Before that, Ruku, allow me to acknowledge in the public gallery, take your seats, Suna West border operators from Suna West, Migori. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome these great Kenyans to the House of Parliament and encourage them to feel at home and know that this Parliament fully acknowledges and appreciates the wonderful work of border operators in revolutionizing rural transport, where you go to where no car can reach and you give services to wananchi. Masara, I give you 1 minute to welcome your voters.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to welcome the officials of Suna West Border, SACCO, and Welfare. Mr. Speaker, these people did their election some time back. I want to congratulate them because they did a very peaceful election. In Kenya, election is having problems, but theirs was very peaceful, and I want to say they'll go far. Mr. Speaker, I invited them to Nairobi tomorrow. There's a big meeting at KICC with a group, an organization called Kenya Motorcycle Owners and Riders Association. They'll be talking about the safety during festive period. They'll be training these people about financial literacy and as well entrepreneurship. Mr. Speaker, as you have really acknowledged, border riders have done a lot for this country. Majority of our youths who are jobless can now get an opportunity to earn their own money through border riders. So therefore, the government and every leader need to support border riders in their respective regions. Mr. Speaker, in my constituency, I've managed to take 1,400 border riders to driving schools. We have taken back those who are riding bicycle but but they have certificates. Some are at the university, some are at the KMTC, and some are at the Teachers Training College. Mr. Speaker, if we can invest a lot of money and time to the borders in Kenya, because they are really contributing to the economy of this country through paying taxes through giving jobs opportunity to our people. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
And congratulations to the team.
Honorable Masara, thank you. Ruku?
Honorable Speaker, as we break for recess, thank you for this opportunity. I requested for a statement on 18th of September, pursuant to Standing Order 44.2c, to the committee, Departmental Committee of Health, on the status of payment of the last expense and death gratuity to survivors of beneficiaries of National Health Insurance Fund and Public Service Superannuation Scheme. From 18th to now, and we are going for recess, Mr. Speaker, I have not received any statement or any clarification as far as this is concerned.
I remember this is the second time you are raising that issue.
Yes, it is important, Mr. Speaker, you give us a direction because there are many Kenyans. In that statement, I indicated that there are over 800 Kenyans who are still waiting for to be in terms with the loss of their loved ones. And the families and the young children who are out there suffering.
Thank you.
And the government has not done anything so far.
Naomi, where is the chairman of health? Dr. Bukose is one of the most consistent attendants. He's not here.
I have not seen him since morning, but he's a very committed member. I'm sure I will...
Is there a member of the committee? Yes.
Yes, I'm here, Mr. Speaker, the Vice Chairman.
Yes.
I'm just in a mask because being the Vice Chairman of the other committee and having a flu, I need to be a good example, Mr. Speaker. No, we're very safe. That's why I want this mask.
Thank you for being a responsible...
Thank you, Speaker. What Honorable Ruku has listed is a very important matter. I remember it came to the committee and we have been pushing the ministry to get a comprehensive answer and they are working on it. We've really pushed them. It's a very comprehensive question, Mr. Speaker, and I'm sure a very comprehensive answer will be given to Honorable Ruku.
Vice Chair, very comprehensive from September to now?
We're pushing the ministry, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, we'll give you time to respond first week upon resumption.
Oblige, Mr. Speaker.
Yes,
Thank
thank you. John Paul? Give the mic to John Paul. There's one on your right.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, also I rose to this House in the month of October to sort for the statement to the Committee on Health about the cancer prevalence. And up to date, Mr. Speaker, that statement has not been answered. I wanted to seek your advice whether that statement will lapse today or maybe if it will be answered next.
I direct that it to be responded to upon resumption.
Thank you,
First
Chair.
week. Yes, Mayaka? Irene Mayaka?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also have a similar issue, and it's actually two statements. One from the Ministry of Internal Security on the status of the gender desks in the police stations. I only got a WhatsApp response. I actually expected a response on the floor of the House. The other one is to the Committee of Social Protection. This was almost 5 months ago on the extension of the declaration of the anti-FGM. And this also has not been responded to. So I'd really like your direction on the two.
I don't see Alice Nganga here. Tongoyo is here. But let them respond upon resumption. And anybody else with statements that have not been responded to, I'll save them to the first week of the next term so that we can save time. Is that Mule? Yes, Mule? On the same issue?
Yes.
I have just said.
Mr. Speaker, I respect what you have said, but I just want to ask the chairs and committees, when members request for statement and we are pushing the ministries to give answers, it takes a bit of time. Mr. Speaker, I requested for statement last year, 2023, in February, and the response came in 2 weeks ago, whereby it was so shallow, the Chair of Finance had to send back the CS Finance to give us a statement in January. Mr. Speaker, I think we need to find a tracking model on how to make sure that the ministries respond to members' requests and statement in this House timely. Because if a response is being given 1 year down the line, Mr. Speaker, what is the purpose? It is high time as we break and tell the ministries that we must get our responses within a framework of a time, but not to keep the answer until the purpose of the question does not meet the necessary response.
You made your point, thank you. A member for Bumula.
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate your ruling about statements, but you ruled a few days ago with regard to my statement to the chairman for Labour about KRA when he had tried to dilly-dally and being very cheeky to bring the answers. And you ordered that today he must bring the answers.
Naomi Karemba has been here. Where has he disappeared to?
I think that's why he ran away, Honorable Speaker. And I'm sure that should attract your
I even
wrath.
gave him an opportunity to request for an unscheduled statement. Who is his vice chair? Naomi? You remember, I think it was early in the week?
Yes.
I directed that the response to his statement be brought today.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, and maybe I can get a minute to go and check for the chair. He's outside, so I can bring him back.
Yes, hand for him and bring him here. Unfortunately, we are moving to the next order. Yes.
Honorable Speaker.
There he comes. Yes,
Honorable Speaker, while you've guided on the issue of statements, Honorable Speaker, when the CS Education was here, I had a question that went to him, but unfortunately didn't make it to the order paper. The reason why my question is of importance, it was because, Honorable Speaker, there is a report that about 200,000 students who didn't join Form 1 are out there. And Honorable Speaker, you know, next year we don't have Form 1s. I've followed this same with the Committee of Education and the CS himself, who had said he'd give a response to, because it's time-barred. And my proposal, Honorable Speaker, had been that because in high schools next year, we can provide for at least one school per constituency to mop up the over 200,000 Form 1s. Like in my constituency, Honorable Speaker, I know there's a number that exists. And I know they want to join Form 1, but we don't know what to do unless the ministry guides us. And I remember the CS had actually said that was a good idea, but he wanted to make a formal statement. I would request, Honorable Speaker, perhaps if you could direct maybe a member of the, and there are two members of the Education Committee, if we can get that response, because it is something that affects those 200,000 people who have not, if they don't get a chance to go to Form 1 next year, then there'll be a lost cause, and they never have a chance to go to school.
That is a very important issue. What we'll do, that and the direction to close boarding schools, there is a possibility you'll have some special sitting before Christmas, when the request is matured, and I'll gazette your statement as well to be responded to, being an important issue in education and concerning our children. That and the issue of closure of 200 and something, 348 boarding schools are issues, like I said, even if it's policy, members of this House would be keen to hear the mitigating factors around it. Children, some go to schools far away from home. You have the answer, Malulu, on that issue? Okay, fine. Let's finish with Karemba first. Karemba, do you have the response to Member for Bumola's statement, which I directed you give today?
Yes, Honorable Speaker. Like I undertook to find out how far the matter has gone. I am in possession of a letter that was done to KRA, Commissioner General, requesting them or asking them to furnish the committee with information regarding that recruitment. But the letter indicated that they were supposed to write to the committee on or before 9th of December, and that is this month. So KRA, I believe, will respond to his grievances by 5 p.m. 9th of December. So they are still within the timeline, according to the letter that was done by the committee.
Are they going to write to you, the committee, or to the member?
To the committee.
So you will then
transmit or rather invite the member for, or communicate to the member on what KRA will.
We'll serve the issue to the first week upon resumption. Yes, Wamboka?
Honorable Speaker, these institutions of government must also respect the rulings delivered by the Speaker. This you had directed 2 weeks ago that they bring the statement. Yesterday, 2 days ago, you still directed, Honorable Speaker. I think it is the highest time that we must have a policy where government institutions respect this House. Honorable Speaker, the issue at KRA is not a small issue. As we speak today, KRA is running like a bandit institution, Honorable Speaker. We have someone in the name of a chairman who is harassing every other employee
Order, Mboka.
of KRA, Honorable Speaker.
That chairman is not able to defend himself here. I won't allow you to go that route.
Okay, I will not go that route, Honorable Speaker, but KRA needs the attention of this House. Things are not sitting pretty well at the KRA, and it's only this House which has powers to deal with the issues of KRA, Honorable Speaker. So, much as I'm guided, Honorable Speaker, I hope by January, when we resume, February, or if we have, you have just indicated that you will call us for a special sitting. This is a serious issue, Honorable Speaker. I beseech that you direct Honorable Karemba to be ready so that this House can deal with issues of the KRA and the people who are rogue.
Very well. Karemba be like the 5 wise girls in the Bible. Remember the set of 10, 5 fools and 5 wise. So be like the 5 wise ones. Come ready. Okay. Maloli Njendi, on the issue of the closure of the boarding schools.
Mr. Speaker.
The questioner, Osoro, is not here.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, the question was raised by Osoro, which was in 3 sections. The first part was to have a comprehensive report or response on 1, the cogent measures, reasons for closing those many schools at such short notice, and whether inspection was conducted at the lapse of the notices of closure to confirm compliance, and the measures put in place to mitigate the inconvenience caused to learners, parents, and the schools, considering that the short period remaining before reopening of schools for the commencement of the 2023 academic year. Honorable Speaker, the total number of schools with boarding sections in our public and private primary and junior schools are 3,199. Public schools are 1,436, while the private schools are 1,763 in number. During the period leading to the closure exercise, the schools were inspected against the guidelines of the Schools Safety Manual 208 and the 348 schools, which translates to 10.9% were found to have contravened the guidelines, hence putting the safety of the learners at risk. The schools were recommended for closure because of the following reasons. 1, registration status. Majority of the schools were not registered as having boarding sections and therefore were operating illegally. Number 2, compliance to safety standards in the dormitories. Most of these schools had dormitories with grills on the windows which provided no exit in case of an emergency, single exit doors with no provision for emergent exits, doors that opened inwards, hence compromising safety of learners if locked inside. Some of the dormitories were repurposed, buildings such as dining halls, classrooms, and workshops, which had undergone modifications without approval from the relevant authorities such as Public Health, Public Works, and NEMA. Congestion in the dormitories was common in these schools, and the spacing of 1.2 meters between the beds was not adhered to. The learners were sleeping on double-deckers and triple-deckers, while some had wooden beds, which is a catalyst to fires in case of emergency. Majority of the dormitories in these institutions had not adhered to the needs of learners with disabilities. Number 3, status of sanitation and water. The sanitation facilities in most of these schools were poorly maintained and inadequate. They had not adhered to the ratio of 1:25 for girls and 1:30 for boys. In some schools, toilets did not have doors, and in some cases, the shutters were not age appropriate. In the closed school, sanitation units for boys and girls were located in the same direction or area. Most of these schools did not provide treated drinking water for learners. Fire safety and equipment and materials. In most of these schools, fire extinguishers were not serviced regularly. Other firefighting equipment such as sand buckets, hose reels with water and smoke detectors were not available. Status of security systems. Some of these schools, the fences were porous without gates. Some gates were not manned by CCTV cameras, which had not been installed in the boarding area as required. Boarding registers were not regularly updated. Most heads of these institutions were not residing in school as required, and most schools did not engage female night security guards to take care of the security needs of female learners. Instead, there were male guards for girls. The schools had not engaged wardens to look after the boys in their dormitories at night. The status of safety in the kitchen and dining hall. In most of these schools, kitchens had poor drainage, inappropriate solid waste disposal, and unsuitable chopping surfaces. Most dining halls did not have adequate chairs and tables, while in some instances, where furniture was available, they were not age appropriate. Most cooks and food handlers had no valid medical certificates. Consideration of learners' welfare. Most schools had admitted boarders who were in pre-primary level. In some of these schools, learners were not provided with balanced diets. There were no sick bays nor qualified nurses employed to take care of sick learners. Some of the schools which had swimming pools did not adhere to safety standards in terms of construction and maintenance. On the second question, whether inspection was conducted, response.
How long is your statement, Malulu?
This one is a short one. These two, very short. The schools which were inspected were given the recommendation that they were expected to implement. They were advised to seek reinspection through the sub-county offices once they are complied. The period to be reinspected was to be determined by the school's rate of compliance. The third question, the measures put in place to mitigate the inconvenient cost. The schools which will have complied will be issued with registration certificates, and the learners will not be affected. However, where there will be lack of compliance, the learners will have to be placed in other schools by sub-county directors or be day scholars in the school. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Next order. Nabi, you want to...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The owner of the statement is not here, but I'll allow you to seek a clarification.
Yes,
and that will be the only one.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, I must tell you that I'm very, very disappointed. That is a very poorly crafted statement that does not tell us the problems in boarding primary schools. Mr. Speaker, I want to say this, that this inspection was done after the Endarasha fire. This is impulse management by Minister of Education that cannot be allowed, Mr. Speaker. Despite the fact that the owner of the statement not being here, and this is being a matter of national interest, Mr. Speaker, I would request that you order that the ministry gives us an appropriate answer detailing plans on how to manage, transition the children who are in those schools. Noting that, Mr. Speaker, a child who is registered on NEMIS in one school cannot be easily transferred to another school, especially if he's after grade 4. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Dawood, on the same issue?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the statement read by the Vice Chair. Mr. Speaker, this country has got many boarding schools. And if we go to all these boarding schools, they may be even worse than what we have been given, because there are two schools in my constituency. I wish, Mr. Speaker, they did a comprehensive audit of all the boarding primary schools in this country. Mr. Speaker, there are sometimes you can even wonder, how can a grade 4 be in a boarding school? We should have a policy where boarding schools should exclusively be for a little older children, not small ones who cannot. But Mr. Speaker, I'm a product of a boarding school. I've stayed in a boarding school for 6 years. But Mr. Speaker, the boarding schools of today are pathetic. There is no space to move. They are bundled up 2 or 3 on a bed, on a high-decker bed. There is no space. The door to exit is probably locked, or it's not opening the right way. The windows have got bars on them. So, Mr. Speaker, it is not just this school should be victimized. We should have a comprehensive report on all boarding schools, not just the ones which have been banned. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I want to go to the next order. Let's Mama Dagoret wacha tuachie hapo. Call the next order.
Order
Which
number.
one? Order Malulu, which one? It's not on my list. Which one is that?
Mr. Speaker, it's a response to a statement sought by Honorable David Kiplagat.
David?
Kiplagat.
He's not here. It's not on my list either. Yes, Minority Chief Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sorry, and I seek your indulgence. I know we are not yet in that order, but could I please know whether the assisted reproductive technology bill is going to proceed?
We have Honorable Millie. We are going to that order now. We'll go into committee. The first on the list is startup, followed by persons with disabilities, then assisted reproductive.
That's why I sought your indulgence, because, Mr. Speaker, what it basically means is if the chair, in the morning it came up and the chair and the vice chair were not in the house. And if it proceeds and they are not here, I'll be sitting here waiting for something that's not proceeding, and I'm supposed to be in Nyanza. So if I'm just sitting, no, I just need to know if they are not here, I'll cancel my trip and sit here and proceed.
Honorable Millie, as a leader in the House, you're obligated to be here whether you have business to transact personally or not. So this is a sitting day. Your matter is listed, but even if it wasn't, I expect you to be here, regardless. More so that you are the whip. But it's on the list. I appreciate, if, for example, you have an emergency and you want me to take it out of the list, or those who are responding to issues are not here, I take it out of the list and save it to the next term, because the earliest we resume is on 11th of February. Pardon?
Respond. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we actually have an event in Migori, but if the chair or vice chair are willing, we have an event tonight. If the chair and the vice chair are willing to proceed, I am willing to cancel, and I'll sit here. So the only thing I'd feel sad is that I cancel and there is nobody here. Because I was supposed to have gone in the morning, I canceled.
From where I sit, Honorable Millie, I have no capacity to know if they are here. The whip majority is Dr. Bukose around, or his vice chair? The vice chair is there.
Speaker Miad, we are willing to proceed with the bill.
Okay. So, may I call out the next order?
Order number 11. Committee of the whole House.
Members be upstanding.
In the Committee of the Whole House, the Start-up Bill, Senate Bill number 14 of 2022.
Clause 7.
Is there an amendment to it? We call him. Honorable John Kiarie. Honorable members, I propose the question that Clause 7 be part of the bill. The Honorable John Kiarie.
Honorable Chair, I want to propose that Clause 7 of the bill be amended by deleting it in its entirety. And why I seek to do this, Honorable Chair, is because the role of the registrar shall already have been taken up by the Kenya National Innovation Agency. And this is the agency that is responsible for the registration of startups under this Act. As a registrar, this innovation agency would be better positioned to track the progress of startups, maintain a database of registered entities, and evaluate their impact on the economy. This data would help in shaping future innovations and policies. And also, Honorable Chair, we are not here as a house to duplicate duties. If a duty is already allocated to an agency, then we have no business using this piece of legislation to create another entity to do exactly the same. As it is, and I had said this in the morning, the issues we're prosecuting here sit across very many sectors: technology, education, youth, innovation, and now trade. And so we do not want to have a place where we are duplicating this role of a registrar. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Honorable members, I propose the question that Clause 7 be amended as proposed. Honorable members, I put the question that Clause 7 be amended as proposed. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? I want to put the question again for clarity. Honorable members, I put the question that Clause 7 be amended as proposed. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The nays have it. The chairperson trade to move committee amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Honorable Chair. I propose to move the amendment as it appears on the order paper, that is by deleting the clause and substituting it with a new clause. And therefore, the justification for that is to enhance clarity on the registration of labeled startups, and this will assist the startups to leverage on the benefits of the granted startups. Remember, Chair, we are moving on from Clause 6, where we are already created the startups, and we have already set up the labeled startups. So if we do not carry this amendment, then it will be difficult for then registration of new startups as labeled startups. Thank you.
Honorable members, I propose the question that Clause 7 be amended as proposed by the chairperson trade. The Honorable Undo.
Chair, I want to support the amendment, and probably KJ is busy or transacting other businesses. I think when we sat with the State Department in respect of this matter, they say the innovation and startups can emanate from any sector. So that's why the purpose of setting a multi-agency startup committee instead of a registrar. Actually, the amendment of the committee is a better provision than what you are thinking about. So I think this should adequately cover your fears such that we go as a multi-agency. It's not just it's not a one person, it's not a one-man show. So that it can come from anywhere, from innovation, science, from anything else. Even music can be a startup. I can decide to start my Adungu band, and so you start up or whichever, and then we move on. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now put the question. Yes, the Honorable Irene Mayaka.
Thank you, Chair. Chair had actually pressed the intervention to catch your eye. I just want to also support the committee amendments because, as I said before, having had an opportunity to engage the committee as a co-sponsor of the bill and having had their justification of why we really need to have this, I concur with them because we need to ensure that we are leveraging in totality on the benefits of startups in relation to the specifications that have been given on the registration. I therefore support the committee's amendment.
The Honorable John Kerry.
With the fact that my amendment has suffered, I would also want to put it on record, Honorable Chair, for us to note, and even for the committee to note, that not all startups are trade startups. And the reason why we needed a registrar is because, and we needed it to be domiciled at Kenya Innovation, is because Kenya Innovation is actually sitting at a very proper place to cover all the sectors, and it is going to the presidency. When we reduce it to the MSME, what will happen is that we will be moving ahead, imagining that all startups are trade and entrepreneurial startups. So we end up losing out while we think we are gaining. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Honorable members, now do allow me to put the question, and I therefore put the question that Clause 7 be amended as proposed by the Chair, Departmental Committee on Trade. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, allow me therefore now to put the global question that Clause 7 of the bill as amended be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 8.
Honorable members, I propose the question that Clause 8 be part of the bill. The Chair, Departmental Committee on Trade.
Thank you, Chair. As I proposed Clause 8, I just wanted the members to note that this startup bill and the agency will be seated, all the agencies will be seated together at the Kenya National Innovation Agency that is coordinated at the presidency, and the only role the MSME department, the State Corporation of MSME will do is to facilitate the financial production and marketing issues. So on Clause 8, we are proposing to delete that whole clause and amend as proposed in the order paper. And the reason for that, the justification is that this amendment seeks to provide obligations of the startups. Thank you.
Honorable members, I put the question that Clause 8 be amended as proposed by the Chair, Departmental Committee on Trade. Honorable members, I'll repeat. Honorable members, allow me to propose the question that Clause 8 of the bill be amended as proposed by the Chair, Departmental Committee on Trade. Honorable Oundo.
Chair, I think we need to be very clear. Innovation is not innovation for the sake of it. Whoever is innovating as a startup intends to commercialize intends to make a living, an economic gain from the innovation. And that's why we concurred with the State Department's thinking that if we just left it in one office, which only registers innovation, how do you commercialize that innovation? How? Because the purpose of innovating is to make money, is to make a livelihood. So that's why we have expanded the bill from the way it came from the Senate to now look at actualization of the innovation. It's just like an architect. An architect designs. If there is no builder, it's just a design. Basic. So
Thank you, Honorable Oundo. Honorable members, it is for you to make a decision. I therefore put the question that Clause 8 of the bill be amended as proposed by the Departmental Committee Trade. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, I now put the question that Clause 8 be part, as amended, be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. The Honorable Dawood, the chair did not ignore you. The chair did not recognize and the chair did not hear you. Call the next clause.
Clause 9.
Is there an amendment? Honorable members, I propose that Clause 9 be part of the bill.
Chair, I propose that Clause 9 be amended as it appears in the order paper, and the justification is to seek to accommodate new provisions on incubation provided for under Clause Part 4 of this Act.
Honorable members, I propose the question that Clause 9 of the bill be amended as proposed by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade. Honorable members, I put the question that Clause 9 of the bill be amended as proposed by the Chairperson, the Departmental Committee on Trade. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? I will repeat the question for clarity. Honorable members, I put the question. Honorable members, you need to be attentive that Clause 9 of the bill be amended and be deleted as proposed by the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Trade. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The nays have it. Do you want me to repeat the question again? I told you members to be attentive. And so I'll expunge and repeat the question again. You know, Honorable Irene Mayaka, I'm putting question on your bill and you're not attentive. The chairperson in charge of ICT, I want to repeat this question for clarity. I have pronounced myself on Clause 9 as the chairperson. If anybody has an issue with it, you have the avenue of recommittal. Next order.
Clause 10.
Honorable members, I propose the question that Clause 10 be part of the bill. Is there an amendment? The chair, Trade.
Chair, I propose that Clause 10 be amended by deleting as it appears in the order paper, and the justification is to, the proposal is in the bill in order to accommodate the new provisions on labeling and registration by the Startup Committee, which is a clause already passed by this House.
The honorable members, I propose the question that Clause 10 be amended as proposed by the Chair, Trade. Honorable members, Honorable Nyikal, you want to?
Chair, I think what would help the mover is where you are doing a complete deletion. Where we are doing, I would like the attention of the mover, where we are doing a complete deletion, it's actually better, even if it takes time, to actually read out what you are deleting. As much as I can see you are explaining, but it would make much sense to know what you are deleting. That's why we are getting there. So if we could just go through what is being deleted.
That's a fair request, Honorable Nyikal. Mover. Chairperson, could you read the provision?
I was waiting for the microphone.
You're
Chair,
proposing to delete.
I think all the clauses are in the order paper, and if we follow through clause by clause, it's in the order paper. But now that you've said I read, the clause that is being deleted is clause 10, which talks about the registrar or the county executive member, as the case may be, shall within 30 days upon receipt of an application under section 9, which examine the application together with the documents, and if the registrar considers necessary, call for such further information to carry out such inspections as he or she may consider necessary for the determination of the application, and where the registrar or the county executive member is satisfied that an applicant meets the requirements for registration under this act, the registrar or the county executive committee member shall, subject to the provisions of this act.
Honorable Chair, you can stop there. I know members already have the order paper, and thank you for directing them on the bill. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 10 of the bill be amended as proposed by the chairperson trade. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, I put the question that clause 10 be part of the bill. In fact, it has been deleted. Sorry, next.
Clause 11.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 11 be part of the bill. It's amended. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 11 be deleted, and I think we can read the clause 11 in the order paper, and the justification is that this new provision is already under the labeling and registration by the Startup Committee.
So we can go all of them. The Honorable Daud.
Chair, on this one I agree with the Chair, because if we have deleted 10, then it follows, this follows 10, it's the same, so we delete this as well.
Honorable members, permit me now to put the question that clause 11 of the bill be deleted as proposed by the Chair Departmental Committee on Trade. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 12.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 12 be part of the bill. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 12 be deleted as it appears on the order paper, and the reason for this is to accommodate the new provisions on incubation provided under Part 4 of this bill.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 12 be amended or be deleted as proposed by the Chairperson Trade. Honorable members, I put the question that clause 12 be deleted as proposed by the Chairperson Committee on Trade. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 13.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 13 be part of the bill. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 13 be deleted as it appears on the order paper, and the reason is that this amendment seeks to accommodate new provisions on incubation already provided under clause 4, under Part 4.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 13 be deleted as proposed by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade. Honorable members, I put the question that clause 13 be deleted as proposed by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 14.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 14 be part of the bill. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 14 be amended as it appears in the order paper, and that is deleting that clause and substituting it with the current clause that is there, and that justification there is to provide for grounds for cancellation and registration of the Startups Committee.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 14 be amended as proposed by the chairperson trade. Honorable members, I put the question that clause 14 be amended as proposed by the chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 14 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 15.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 15 be part of the bill. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade.
Chair, I propose that clause 15 be amended as it appears on the order paper, and the justification for this is to provide for procedure to be followed prior to the cancellation of registration of any startups, including issuance of notice to the affected startup.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 15 be amended as proposed by the chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade. Honorable members, I put the question that clause 15 be amended as proposed by the chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 15 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 16.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clause 16 be part of the bill. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that clause 16 be amended as it appears on the order paper, and the justification for this is the manner of cancellation of registration by the Startup Committee and the effect of such cancellation